Yo, what's up? This is Greg, Force Training Academy. Today's question is coming from a boy Jake, who's asking us about rest periods. He goes, he wants to know if we can play with the time of the rest periods, and he wants to know how how the length of your rest periods is designed. So basically he says that he started to train a couple of years ago and he's progressing pretty well. He's getting stronger, but as he's getting stronger, his sessions tend to grow longer and longer and longer, and he seems to be resting more than actually exercises. So the question is if he should start compressing these workouts by skipping or shortening rest periods between certain exercises, or he should just allocate more time for his workouts and maybe work out less times per week. So yeah, well, the answer to the first part of your question is pretty simple. So the way this works is, at least here, the way I do it, in nutshell, is this. We've got the warm-up. During the warm-up, if you're doing a warm-up set, the rest is very, very, very short. Something around 15 to 20 seconds, sometimes not even that. So that's all right. You practice the movement, you catch your breath, you shake your arms or legs out, you go back practicing the movements. As soon as you're starting to load, that's a different thing. So once we've done the warm-up, we go into what I call technique drills. So it's either power drills or technique drills or speed drills, one of the three. And these ones are very intense on the brain. You really need to push, you really need to be fast in them, you really need to watch out your form. They work on the balance, they work on a lot of this neurological aspect of human movement, if that makes sense. So you really need to make sure that what you're doing is correct. That also means that you need to rest, because although your body could do it more, your brain kind of cannot. It gets tired. So it needs time. Nervous system needs a little bit more time to recover after load. So the way I like to do this is to actually have a little bit more people in the group and have one or two athletes working on the drill, and the rest would wait for their turns. That way I would control them, control their sort of length of their rest period, because it seems like athletes tend to skip rest. They tend to feel that they don't do anything when they are resting. They get kind of bored. So that's one. The second block I'm training with is always a power block. So we would go for, this is where you go a heavy exercise. So you do a heavy deadlift followed by a box jump or something like this. Just, again, very much in a nutshell. Sometimes it's more complicated than that, but this is where you work for your power. And here as well, you really need to make sure that the form is absolutely perfect, because every time you lift 5 repetitions or less, the intensity is very high. When the intensity is very high, the risk of injury is very high. So you really need to make sure that the form is absolutely perfect. It's the best what it can be. So you need to focus, you need to be sharp, and you need to be in the present. Again, that's tiring. Your body might be able to do it more or do it more often, but that's usually a sign of you either not following the tempo instructions or loading too light. But your brain, your focus cannot focus that much. This is why when I tell people that they should go heavy and they go light, this is why the workout can be completely wasted. Because if I say, look, it's 3 deadlifts and then 3 box jumps, and then you go for 3 light deadlifts and 3 shallow box jumps, and then you skip the rest period, well, you're gonna get injured, because the deadlifts and the box jumps require a lot of focus. So if you cut the rest period short between the 2 sets, you're overloading your focus and you're gonna screw up the form. And when you screw up the form, you're gonna miss on the jump and you're gonna injure yourself. You're gonna cut your shin. You're gonna kick the box. You're gonna fall off the box, whatever. You're gonna pull your back, because you see, you can pull your back with 40 kilos in your hand. It can happen. So if the form is wrong enough, and if you don't wait long enough between sets, then the form is gonna be wrong enough, because your focus is not recovered. You cannot assume a correct position for that deadlift. So That's why it's important for you to rest. But then if you choose the lightweight and you're gonna be resting 2 minutes between sets, then your muscles are not really overloaded, so you're not really getting stronger, you're just practicing the movement. So again, this is something, I'm not saying this is your mistake. In fact, from what I hear from your words, I think you actually go pretty intense, but it takes a lot of time. But the truth is, when you go pretty intense, it should take a lot of time. You should rest long enough so you can complete the next set with a perfect form. So this is about power. The third block, what we're working for sometimes is strength. It's with general 5x5 or something like that. This is not an explosive movement. It's a controlled speed, both directions, and it's heavy, 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 heavy. Here you've got 3 to 5 times the rest. So the rest is 3 to 5 times longer than the set. So if the set lasts 40 seconds, then 3 times 40. That would be the rest period, right? Do the math. And that's that. And then the third one is the bodybuilding, fourth one actually. The fourth, see, that's why I'm not doing math for you, because I cannot even count to 4. That's why not counting reps when people are training here. They're always like, I did 10, and I'm like 7, 8. So anyway, the fourth part of it is the bodybuilding section or the conditioning section, depending on which phase we are on. And in that case, either we do circuits, which means there is no rest between the exercises and the rounds per se, but you're always resting a certain movement or a certain group of muscle. Or we would do straight down bodybuilding style, which is 3 or 4 sets of one exercise and then another exercise for 3 or 4 sets. In that case, we would rest 30 to 40 seconds between sets and crack on with it again. I know some people who are professional bodybuilders who swear to go heavy, intense between the rep range of that 12 to 15, burn it all out, and then rest long enough so that you can do it again with the same weight, with a good form. That makes sense, and that is absolutely amazing if you're only doing bodybuilding. If you're doing strength and conditioning, that's a little bit different. So this is the answer for the first part of your question, already at the 7-minute mark. Wow, that the rest periods are designed this way. The second part of the question, should you cut your workout, compress it by cutting the rest, is an absolute no. You probably guessed it from the first part. It's an absolute no. There are ways to make your workout shorter. It's by using circuit training, stuff like this, supersets within the workout, which would allow you not to rest between certain exercises because you group them up in such a way that you don't need to rest. So if you rest a push-up, if you couple a push-up with a pull-up, then you don't need to rest between them because your pressing muscles are resting whilst you're training your pulling muscles, more or less, right? So then you do 2 exercises. Then after that you do like a walking lunge. So you still got the cardiovascular workout, you're still training your legs, but your upper body is resting now. So now you can go back to the push-up straight away, or the bench press, or whatever you're doing. So this is one way to cut your rest out, by using circuits and programming the exercises in a way that certain muscle groups or movements are resting whilst you're doing other ones. Other than that, there is nothing, really. Stick to your rest, because if you don't stick to your rest, you're gonna be weaker. You're not gonna be lifting the same weight with the same intensity, with the same form. Either you're programming the wrong movement pattern with the same intensity what you should be programming the good movement pattern with, and that is a problem. So you're fucking yourself up instead of unfucking yourself with the same intensity. Or you're going pussy, because you cannot lift the same weight, you cannot train with the same intensity because you're tired. You just can't do it. There's no way. You still feel loaded, but you're not doing the same. You're not quite doing the same. And guess what? If you're not getting the maximum stimulus, if you're not providing the maximum stimulus for growth with your training, then you're not gonna get the maximum growth. So I'm not saying that you're wasting your time, but you may wasting more time than if you would waste if you would just rest properly. So for you, my friend, the cues to follow would be, yes, stick to your rest periods. You can raise the intensity if you want. If you raise the intensity, volume goes down, that saves you some time. Actually, it can save you a lot of time. Or start doing supersets and circuits. Actually, we do a lot of supersets. In the 2 days training, there are like 3 supersets and a circuit, 2 circuits at the end. So I use these a lot to control the time. And the third one is just, to plan the time into that workout, what it requires if you want to grow. Because if you cut on that rest, you're gonna suffer for it. Your form will suffer, your focus will suffer, your attention will suffer, and eventually either you're not gonna grow that fast, that's one, or you're gonna get injured down the line. So, one point I wanted to ask before I read your questions is like, look, man, I have a lot of guys training in the gym, and I talk to a lot of guys who come here and get the coaching and then go away and train their own, and some of them comes back with weird injuries, knees complaining after the training, or they cut their shin on the boxes during the jumps and now they're afraid of it, and things like that. And the first question what always comes to my mind is, why is that me and our coaches, my coaches, don't get these injuries? We never miss a box jump. It just never happens. And there's 2 reasons for that. We follow the rest protocols. So when we go for that box jumps, we understand that it's a maximum effort. So either the box only, as high as my hip, but I'm going to pretend that it's up to my chest. So that's gonna be still a maximum effort. If I'm gonna drop vertically down to the box 10 inches, then I'm gonna do that, but I'm still gonna jump up as high as I can to get that max effort out of that box jump, because that's the purpose of the exercise. That's 1. 2, I always make sure, and everyone who trains people here makes sure that the rest periods are properly followed, because if you're rushing, you're gonna miss something. If you miss something, you're risking injury. And these exercises, some of them are dangerous enough. You kind of want to make sure that you're safe as you can be. Well, that's it. Thank you for the question for today. If you liked the video, then hit that subscribe button and the notification button as well. So I'm gonna beep every time I post a video on your phone, and that's fun. And also share the video, because people need to know this. This is one of the most common mistakes I see on my newbies, that they don't respect the rest periods, although they should. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Merry Christmas. And if you have a question, ask it. Gotta go now. Bye.